Welcome to the BSR Sports Podcast. In case you don't know, you've got an excellent opportunity to join a free giveaway to get any shot you want. If you want to join, click the link below in the description. For the first 250 subscribers, we're going to be giving you away a free shot just in time for Christmas. What an opportunity that you can't miss out on. Until then, enjoy the video. Thank you. Hello there, and welcome to the BSR Sports Podcast. From the fans, for the fans. Today, I'm joined by the usual guests in the World Sports Podcast, Patrick Leonard and Luke McFarlane. Welcome, boys. How are we?
Very good, mate.
Pleasure to be here.
Good stuff. Glad to have you back on, as usual. We're going to get straight into it. What a fight of the weekend, wasn't it? Joshua turned up, and he gave us a fight we were all looking for. Paddy, take it away. How did you think he done at the weekend?
I love Joshua. I love Anthony Joshua. So do I think he's the best heavyweight in my opinion. The fight was brilliant, and you saw he almost knocked out Pulev. He almost had him in the third round, and I thought he was just going to jump right on him, but he couldn't get him out there. Pulev showed like he had a chin in that, and you just saw Joshua playing with him, and then the finish. It was unbelievable. You saw the big uppercuts he was throwing. That's looks like his favourite punches to throw. So he's all set up for the Fury fight then.
Yeah, we'll get on to that in a wee bit. We'll talk through the fight first of all. So first round was a bit of a cagey affair. I think both people had their punches, both people had their breakthroughs, but I don't think there was any proper breakthroughs for either fighter. Would you say?
Don't think so. Nah, I think Joshua was just sort of trying to figure him out, trying to find his angles and things, and find the range. So that's why you just saw.
It was quite. Start of the fight, I thought it was going to be another Joshua Parker affair, where they were just sitting off each other, just jabbing. Oh, I couldn't bear another 12 rounds of that. But he did. He came out in the second round, and it was a total different game in the second round. So you could see his game plan was to try and use the full first round to figure him out.
I think because with the fans there, the 1,000 fans, I think that played a big factor. Because obviously Joshua's back in London. He wanted to put a show on for the fans and not just jab. You know what I mean? He wanted to get a knockout for all the fans watching. Yeah,
100%. And to be honest with you, did you see the fans when he came out? It was amazing, and they put the song on, and they were all singing, "Oh, Anthony Joshua." It was crazy, to be honest, because we've not seen that in months, and it put a smile on my face, and I think it put a smile on most people's faces watching it. Even if you were a Pulev fan, to see fans back in the arena, just to hear that crowd noise again, to hear that hype, it's what the sport's been missing. It was an amazing experience just to see that again. And as for the people that paid between 100 and 1,000 to get into that, they got their show, didn't they? So second round, heated up considerably, didn't it? Joshua came into the fight and he wasn't standing off him anymore. Threw a couple of decent punches, yeah. Nothing to break through again. And that's when we probably see Joshua was going to be the better fighter than Pulev, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. You saw him landing his right hand. He looks as though he's got so much power. You see the size of Joshua. He's so strong. And the second round, he started to land the big right hands, and he was finding his range, and then that got him going, didn't it? Once you see him like with the jab and that, but then once he starts throwing his punches and bunches, and he gets that power behind him, he wobbles his opponents with ease.
Yeah, considerable to say that third round was how the fight changed. The fight just totally evaporated from Pulev's hands in the third round, didn't it? And Joshua just took control. He was outstanding. He was phenomenal, to be honest, and it's the old Joshua that we all know. I'm not going to lie, I've been quite annoyed with Joshua recently. He's been winning fights, but he's not been winning them a nice way. He's not been giving the fans the entertainment that I like to see in a fight. He's not been going all out. He's been sitting on the jab. And to be honest with you, it's not what the boxing fans need to see. And I think that's why more fans are going the UFC way, because I feel boxing's becoming more tactical. So Joshua's, I think his team have noticed that, and he was told, go all out, just go for it. You've got nothing to lose against this fighter. And the third round, that it was crazy, wasn't it? You seen Joshua throwing mega punches, and Pulev was screaming. He was just going screaming, and
crazy.
It was just adrenaline. Everybody was like, I was off my chair, like, oh, and everybody was just going crazy. The crowd were going crazy. Pulev was screaming, Joshua was screaming. Joshua's going for it. Pulev's taking them, and Pulev's throwing them back. It was chaos. And to be honest with you, I couldn't ask for any more. Could you look?
No, definitely not. I think like that third round is kind of what you want to see as a neutral in boxing. I don't think the fighters or their trainers want them to get into that sort of fight, but like so entertaining to see. And like I think I've been hearing a lot of people criticising Joshua for not getting him out of there in the third round, but I think massive credit to Pulev for hanging in there. Like you see, Joshua is an absolute beast of a man, isn't he? And to take that kind of punishment off and get off the ground, get off the canvas. He tends to get put down once or twice in that round.
Well, two knockouts in the third round it was, and to be honest with you, he was saved by the bell. But all credit to him, he could still get back up twice, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely, and the fact that he was able, obviously, to last a good few more rounds and kind of compose himself shows what sort of a fighter he is, and just kind of old-fashioned, gritting his teeth and getting on with it. Clearly a very, very tough fighter, but I think from that point on, the result was never really in doubt, was it?
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, third round, Joshua had his chance, didn't he? And he didn't take it because of Pulev's iron chin, as we said earlier. Pulev came back in it in the fourth round, didn't he, Paddy?
I thought so. I thought so. Like, he obviously, I think he knew he could take a punch from Joshua, and so he was taking him on the chin with ease and just coming forward to Joshua, making Joshua be in the back foot. But Pulev put up a really good fight, and he showed that I think he's 39, so he shows he's a warrior in that fight.
Yeah, 100%. I was very impressed with Pulev, to be honest with you. He did take the shots in the end of the third, and the bell did save him because I felt Joshua was in the front foot and he was going to get that third knockout. And to come out in the fourth round, and I think maybe his teams had a word with him in his ear and said, look, you're going to need to win this round. You've been done in the last two rounds. It's your chance now to take this fight, to make or break. And he came out in the fourth round, and to be honest, I was a bit scared. I felt that Joshua had put all his energy into that third round, and Pulev he started to come into it, and I was like, oh no, please no. And Pulev did land a good few scary punches, to be honest with you. He rocked Joshua near the end, didn't he?
I think so.
So yeah, from then on, it was just a Joshua masterclass, wasn't it? I think after Pulev came back into it and we seen that, it was a Joshua show that we've seen in his younger years, to be honest with you. I've not seen that for years from Joshua. And we can't ask any more from him, can we?
No, we can't. I think, as I say, he showed, like, when he puts his punches together and the power that he has, he's that size of man, Joshua. He can knock out anyone, it seems. And it seems like he's getting better every fight. He's still a young guy, and he'll be coming into his prime, I think.
For such a young man to be an ambassador of JD, to be doing adverts all over, I think most of the world must know Joshua. And it's not from, I would personally say it's not from his boxing, even though he is champion, two-time champion and stuff like that. To put yourself out there, his PR team's done excellent for him. And to be honest with you, Joshua's a role model. Joshua's an excellent role model for the rest of British boxing, to be honest with you. He's taken so much stick on the chin. Look at that Andy Ruiz fight. From getting knocked down, the whole of the UK was on his back. Everybody, the USA, was laughing at him. And he just got back up. He said nothing. Apparently, he went to a basketball fight. We've spoken about this in previous podcasts. Apparently, he was in a basketball fight. No, basketball match. He went to a basketball match in New York after that fight. And he had fans. He was in the VIP and he had fans laughing at him, shouting at him, ha ha, you're this, you're that. And Joshua said nothing. Joshua sat there, stayed quiet, watched the basketball. Apparently after the basketball, he went to the gym and just battled out so much because he said he had so much energy in there. And from that day on, Joshua said, I'm never ever going to let a fan talk to me like that again. And that is just a role model story in itself. It's remarkable the fact that so late at night after getting beaten in a fight, you'd be drained. He said he went to the gym and he just battled the bag, just hit the bag all night, worked on different things. It's remarkable, isn't it? So, 9th round, Pulev dragged it out, didn't he? Fair dues to Pulev, give him his dues. Maybe he didn't deserve the win, but I think he got his money out of the fight, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. And that rounder was he obviously got knocked down a few times.
Aye.
And as I said earlier, Anthony Joshua, the uppercuts, they were the deciding factor, wasn't it? Yeah. Like sort of in the clinch and throwing them. That was brilliant. It was good to see him get a knockout again because obviously he bet Ruiz in the rematch via decision and he got beat before that. And then, so I think it's 2 years since his actual last fight in the UK against Povetkin that he's won by knockout. So that was great to see. Yeah,
100%. And yeah, he is just a role model. I can't see any way past him. What's next for Joshua? The talk of the town is Fury. Talk of the town is Fury. Boys, what we thinking? It has to be Fury, doesn't it? Eddie Hearn said that Joshua's not man enough to say it, apparently. That's what Fury's saying anyway on social media. I think Joshua's trying to keep his mouth shut so that he's not playing into Fury's games. What do you think?
I think like I saw like Eddie Hearn was saying like Joshua doesn't want to just say their names until it's actual signed because you can talk, but like we could just see him fight Usyk or somebody, you know, like until that fight is signed and official, then you'll see him start mouthing off with Fury and with them two going back and forth.
It's a very hard one for Eddie Hearn as a promoter because, well, saying that he's put it out there now that he wants the Fury fight, but he's put it in a way saying that the fans want it. He's not said that it's going to happen. So Usyk deserves it. I think Usyk should be first in line, but in boxing terms, Usyk well no should be first in line for money, for pay-per-view, which we know come first. Fury's miles ahead, so that's when the question comes into it: who's going to get it? Personally, it has to be Fury, doesn't it? Look.
Yeah, I think it's the fight that fans want. I get what you're saying with Usyk, and obviously he's come up from the cruiserweight division where he had all the belts, but we want to see that now in the heavyweight division. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've ever seen in the heavyweight division an undisputed champion with all four of the major belts. So that's the fight that needs to happen. And you know, when Fury beat Klitschko all those years ago to kind of end that era of boxing, and then Fury obviously went into sort of a few years of inactivity, all the belts were sort of scattered again, and then it's kind of been Anthony Joshua who's been picking them back up. So now we've got this opportunity to get all four of the belts under one name, and I think like they have to do it. They'd be crazy not to do it. And we seen with Joshua losing against Ruiz, it's like you have an expiry date as a fighter, and if he loses another one of his fights, whether it's Usyk or a Dillian White, whoever it is that he's fighting, like all these guys are dangerous. Like Pulev's a dangerous fighter, you know. Like everyone he's stepping in the ring with has the capability of ending the fight, because we're talking about the heavyweight division. So for me, yeah, it needs to be the Fury fight, and whoever wins from there, like I'm big fans of them both. I think that's a win for boxing. Like, I think it's the biggest fight in boxing you can make. So
yeah, I think that 100%. Personally, I think that fight's going to make or break boxing. It's a reignition for boxing, because I feel boxing is kind of trundling right now. It's kind of trundling through. You've got all the old legends; they've all went away, such as Klitschko. Mayweather's obviously retired. You've got Joshua, but I wouldn't say Joshua's a legend yet. He's an ambassador at the most. And obviously you've got Mayweather fighting. We'll get into that in a wee bit, but fighting, as we spoke about last week, Logan Paul. It's a scary one, to be honest with you, because it feels like YouTube's taking over boxing, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it certainly does. I'm just saying it certainly does, and it's laughable because it's going away for like the roots of boxing, and like it's now all about the money. But you see Floyd Mayweather, he's a master at making money, so whatever he says sort of goes, and he can make anything from a fight. Like he's fighting Logan Paul, who's 0-1 in boxing, professional boxing. So
get beat off another YouTuber, says it all.
So
and
seems to be the way now.
We spoke about that last week. If you've not checked it out, go and check out last week's podcast. We do speak about Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather. It's going to be an interesting fight, but we've already spoke about it. So go and check that out down below if you've not already. Getting on to things. There was another fight which blew the cards away at the weekend, didn't it? And honest to God, watching that fight, my mind is still boggled watching it. What a fight! What a fight! That has got to be the best fight of the year. Paddy, the UFC 254, 256. I'm going crazy tonight. Figueredo versus Moreno. What a fighter Moreno is, and Figueredo showed his champion worth, didn't he? Oh my goodness! You couldn't have written off any fight. It's, as BT Sport have said, one of the best fights ever.
That's certainly one of the best fights I've ever saw. And I was talking to Luke earlier, it's scary. I find it scary that in the UFC they use the 4-ounce gloves. So that's near enough, no padding, and then it's just basically knuckles. It's so scary, and you saw them swinging at each other, and the both of them just taking the punches, and they showed a warrior's heart. They never wanted to give up. And Moreno, he pushed the champion Figueredo right to the line, didn't he? And you could argue he deserved it, but it was a draw in the end. I think that was quite fair, to be fair.
Yeah, I think at the start, just talking through the rounds, 5 rounds, I think at the start we'll say Figueredo took control, and Moreno did hit him with a couple, hit him with a good couple, but I think Figueredo's uppercuts overdone Moreno. Probably give first 2 rounds to Figueredo. Third round, it was a hard one, wasn't it? Because both of them were going at it, and that's when you just seen things flying. And the commentators just took a step back and they were like, "Wow!" It was
Joe Rogan.
I think Joe Rogan.
I've seen Joe Rogan. He goes mental, didn't he?
Not even Joe Rogan, but that's why I said the commentators. Like every one of them was just stunned. The whole arena was just stunned. They were just throwing punches, and there was no energy. To be honest with you, there was no energy that they didn't use. It was just all out. It was crazy. And to be honest, that's the fights that we all want to see. And it's very seldom we see that in the boxing game nowadays, which makes me think that's why UFC is overtaking boxing at the moment. And it's a strong statement to say. So obviously nowadays you've got, Khabib's just retired. You've got John Jones looking to fight Adesanya, 2 legends in the game. You've got obviously Conor McGregor, who's rolling his tail. Yeah, you know what I mean. So you've got all these legends, and look at boxing. Where are your legends in the boxing? Most of them have gone. You've got trundling emotions in boxing nowadays. So this is what kind of annoys me. Promoters need to start working harder in the boxing game. You've got Eddie Hearn. Who else have you got?
You get Frank Warren and Bob Arum and all these guys, Al Heyman.
Yeah.
But you're right, mate. This is what the fans want to get their money's worth, don't they? They want to see these fights where it's toe to toe, and you think if Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua fought, that could be a good fight like that. That's the number one fight to make right now, and the whole world would be watching that. That would, as you say, like UFC sort of. More fans are tuning into that now than boxing, because maybe the boxing sort of landscape, it's all over the place, isn't it? Whereas in the UFC, you just have the one champion in the weight division. But I think if they made that undisputed fight, that would bring back boxing back.
Yeah. getting back onto that UFC fight, obviously we've went off topic there. Apologies, but emotions run high when you get into the fight game, don't they? So, getting back into that fight, Figueredo Moreno, main event, it was remarkable. And to be honest with you, third round, fourth round, I would have given to Moreno. Moreno was maybe getting dominated first and second rounds, and then he just found a way back in. And Figueredo was taken by a storm. It was remarkable. I wouldn't say Moreno fully deserved it, but if you were to pick somebody, I would have said Moreno. It was a remarkable fight, wasn't it, Paddy?
Yeah, I thought so. To be fair, Moreno was getting the takedowns in, so on like the judges' scorecards, that's a big sort of deciding factor. And although sort of Figueredo was the aggressor, Moreno was clipping him here and there with big haymakers and the overhand punches.
Yeah.
So,
Figueredo was going more for the uppercuts. I was surprised that the smaller guy was actually going for more takedowns. It was kind of weird, if you ask me.
Good on him, but Moreno, he's a
brilliant, wee warrior.
A wee warrior, too, right?
Another one with an iron chin. The amount of uppercuts Figueredo hit him with, champion uppercuts as well. I wouldn't have said either fighter had a bad performance. It was just remarkable. Nobody got knocked out. How many punches must have been thrown in that fight and connected? I can't get over that fight.
You think what must it have been like to be a fan there? Because I think in America as well, they're only allowed a certain amount of fans in to watch these fights, and they're. I'm not sure if
there was fans allowed, and I don't know. I'll need to check up on that one. But
I know.
Was there fans allowed? I don't know.
I will, for the commentators and anyone else who was there Dana White. You think what it'd be like to be up close to that fight, and obviously you're just hearing these punches hit off the fighters. It's scary. And
that's what I said earlier on. Maybe there was fans there. I don't know, Paddy. Apologies for interrupting you anyway. But what I was saying is the whole arena just erupted, and you could hear everybody just screaming, just going, what's happening here? Because they were just thrown. There was no kid in the world, and that's what I love to see. It's fighting. It's what we're supposed to do. Sitting off in this jab, tactical. I don't like it. It's not a place in my heart for the fighting game. We need people that are going to go toe to toe and going to entertain the fans. The fans pay for the fight. Entertain the fans. That's all they're asking to do, and we're starting to see more of it now. So I'm more than happy. At the moment, just it annoys me just to see fights like, as I keep saying, the Joshua Parker fight. I'll never ever got over the hype of that fight. Honest to God. Getting on to things. We'll get off of the fight game because I'm going to start crying in a minute. Look, big NFL weekend this weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, some big games. You had the Chiefs taking on the Dolphins, and a lot of action in the game. Sort of talking in the preview, if anyone had a chance to read it, where the sort of how Patrick Mahomes has only been intercepted twice this season, ended up getting intercepted 3 times in this game by the Dolphins. So, and we spoke about last week as well with the Dolphins, how they've possibly had the biggest turnaround this year out of all the teams, where they've gone from, I believe, a losing team last season, and they're 8-5 now after losing to the Chiefs, but gave as good as they got, really. And this young quarterback that they've drafted as well, Tua, really showing a lot of potential. 3 touchdowns with 1 interception.
Remarkable performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, very, very good. So I think they've got a player there that they can build their franchise around. And obviously it's just going to be sort of adding some strength in other areas, but they've got a lot to be hopeful for, the Dolphins. I don't think they're completely out of the playoff picture. I think they could still maybe grab a wild card spot. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. But the Chiefs, again, just showing how good they are. Patrick Mahomes, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, probably his worst game, at least statistically, that he'll play this season. But still just doing enough to lead his team to victory. And we've spoke before about Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Just these absolute weapons that he's got on the offense, and they can just take over a game. I think they both received for a touchdown, and there was this touchdown from Tyreek Hill where he just rushes in for it, and it is like the speed that this boy has. Like, he is frightening. Like, I think I actually looked at his Wikipedia page, and I believe it said that he was a former sprinter, like a youth.
He was, yeah, he was.
Something. Yeah, like this boy. If you've not seen him, like, you need to see how fast Tyreek Hill is. But I would just sort of, he was on the verge of going out of bounds, and he just continued running, managed to just about stay in. None of the players could touch him on the Miami defense, and he goes in for the touchdown. Like, just unbelievable. Like, as a neutral, it's what you want to be seeing. So I mean, yeah, that definitely game of the week for me. The Dolphins against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs just doing enough again to keep winning. And as I've said before, like, I'd be surprised if they don't mount a serious challenge for defending their Super Bowl.
Yep.
Sorry, the Super Bowl this year.
Another interesting topic: Green Bay Packers back-to-back NFC North champions. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah,
excellent.
Yeah. So,
they're just like unstoppable, don't they?
They look very good as well. And Aaron Rodgers, I think we're speaking about Mahomes, and obviously not going to be any talk of him. He's having an amazing season in the grand scheme of things. But those 3 interceptions they thrown could be, a lot of people are saying, what tips Aaron Rodgers to get maybe the MVP award this year, because I don't think he's having an unbelievable season as well for them. Obviously, winning their championship for a second consecutive year. So yes, very good team, and another one who needs to be taken very seriously, I think, in the grand scheme of things.
I feel I put them head to head at the moment. Green Bay Packers, Kansas City Chiefs. Who pips it?
I do still think the Chiefs. I rate the Chiefs. I rate Mahomes a lot, as much as I rate them as well. But I think the Chiefs just have a better array of players, at least on offense, in my opinion. But it'll be a very close game, I think.
Yep, he gave us our predictions. If you've not seen them already, go and check out the article on the bslsports.co.uk website. Luke's obviously going to be our NFL correspondent, so go and check out his predictions. Let us know what you think of them. I think it was an excellent performance from you on the article front. Well done, Luke. What was your thoughts on the predictions? How many did you get right?
Well, we predicted 5 games, didn't get any of the scores bang on correct, but 4 out of 5 of the winners we predicted were right. So let's talk about the Chiefs. So we predicted,
who let you down?
The Giants against the Cardinals. So I said the Giants would win 17-14. I think they were on a 4-game winning streak. They ended up losing. Let's see.
Shocker there. Imagine going for the Giants.
Yeah,
what's happened to you, Luke? I thought you knew the NFL.
They need to have a bit of faith in the team. Yeah, they lost 26-7. So yeah, with the Giants and the Cardinals, obviously, Giants went on some form. I think winning 4 games on the bounce. But I'm happy to see the Cardinals winning. Just for Kyler Murray, the young second-year quarterback they've got there. He seemed like he's got a lot of criticism this year, and I think even himself said on the back of one of their losses, he was sort of like, oh, well, I don't know if I'm the problem. So it's not nice to see a young player coming into the league with, like, potentially low on confidence when he's saying something like that, and he's obviously the starting quarterback for one of the best teams in the league, so he has to obviously believe in himself. And I think nice to see them win and potentially get back in the playoff picture. I think as a neutral, I'd rather see the Cardinals there than the Giants. So good to see. And again, like they're definitely still a threat. They've got DeAndre Hopkins at receiver, who they traded for from the Texans. So very, very good team. I think on offense, it's just a couple of positions that might let them down and kind of consistency this season. But we've seen, I think, game of the season so far. We'll talk about this another time. But them against the Seahawks in the first game went to overtime, and then ended up winning it by kicking it.
What a game that was.
Unbelievable. So I think, like the Cardinals, if you're wanting to see an entertaining game, always switch the Cardinals on.
Aye.
And then they never seem to disappoint. They might not always win, but always a very good game.
Is that why you picked them not to win against the Giants?
Well, that's the thing. You see the Giants and the way they've been playing with the defence has been the strongest point of the team probably recently, and then they give up 27 points to the Cardinals. So it just seems like there's no way of predicting these things completely. And you think the game could have gone either way, but I wouldn't have put in more than 3 points, a field goal or maybe a touchdown in between the teams. But obviously, a bit of a blowout defeat. But they still seem like quite a young team and a lot of improvement for the Giants. So not all doom and gloom for them.
Look, Ravens v Browns tonight. What's your predictions? last game of the week, week 14?
I think Browns are going to win. I don't know if you'd call it an upset or not at the moment. At the start of the season, the Ravens blew them out in the first game of the season. I can't remember the exact scoreline, but I don't think Cleveland scored more than 7 points, and the Ravens ran away with it. Lamar Jackson looking at his usual best, but they've had a bit of a nightmare. I think they're now 7-5 this year.
No.
So not the season people expected. People were talking about the Chiefs and the Ravens as the two teams to beat. I still think they're a very good team. I think Lamar Jackson is a unbelievable quarterback, still probably second or third best quarterback in the league. So it'll be interesting to see. You know, I'm not sure myself. I think Browns win, but I think it'll be tight, and I think it could go either way. But I'm impressed with the Browns. They beat the Titans last week, who are another very good team, and they dealt with them with ease, really. Baker Mayfield showing how good he is, and some of the weapons they've got. David Njoku, Austin Hooper, Jarvis Landry. I think since Odell Beckham got injured, they're actually a better team. Nick Chubb and Kareem
very
Hunt
bold statement to make.
Yeah, I think with Odell Beckham, I think they were kind of forcing it to him.
Aye.
And some of the players they have, I think they've got the best running back duo in the league, in Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. I think what they need to do is run the ball with those two, and then the passing will come off that. Whereas what they were doing before was they were forcing it to Odell Beckham, who would just be like doubled up, like double mark basically, and then sort of as an afterthought, you'd give the ball to Chubb or Hunt with running the ball. And I just don't think that's the way to do it. So I think now the way they've got it now is a bit more balanced, a bit more natural. I think Odell Beckham is a more talented receiver than anyone else in the receiving core in the team, but I don't know if he necessarily fits the system, and I think he will possibly get traded when he is back fit.
We all know Odell Beckham Jr. There's no question that he's one.
He's unbelievable.
There's no question that he is one of the best of this decade, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But that can be the problem with a lot of teams. A lot of teams can't just focus on the one player, and if that player's getting doubled up, and you see it a lot with Odell Beckham Jr. How many sacks this season? Obviously, getting the injury and stuff, but how many sacks this season?
How many sacks?
Yeah.
On Odell Beckham?
Mm-hmm.
You're thinking of something else, mate. A sack's when you tackle the quarterback. Sorry.
I've always thought a sack was when you get...
No, a sack's when one of the defensive...
Is that just the quarterback?
Yeah, just the quarterback.
I've always thought it was the other. Oh, right, well. Something I need to touch on. We'll cut that out, right?
Don't worry about it, mate. It's easy to get mixed up with the terminologies. But
do you know what I'm talking about? But, like, obviously...
I think,
Beckham getting doubled up. I thought a sack was just when they couldn't get fucking...
No, but I know exactly what you mean. I think this year, like, there was positive signs. I think there was a game where he had maybe 3 touchdowns.
We'll start again. I'll try to make the point. I mean, how many times have we seen Odell Beckham lose the ball? He gets doubled up constantly in games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this season we were seeing it. He was doing better with Baker Mayfield. I think they were kind of getting the balance right. I think he had a really good game. Can't remember against who, but scored 3 touchdowns. His best game for the Browns. But we've seen it especially last year where he was getting doubled up on, and the Browns were horrific with him. And you brought him into the team thinking he was going to make a world of difference, and it just wasn't happening. But the start of the season, I think they had a winning record with Beckham in the team, so definitely a lot of improvement there. But since he's gone out, I just think they've got a lot better. Yeah, and listen, I like Odell Beckham. He is, like, as a fan, he almost got me into watching the NFL at his catch for the Giants back in the day. So I want to see him do well, but I don't think he's necessarily a problem. I just think, like, whoever's like the offensive coordinator and stuff in that team is saying, like, throw the ball to Odell Beckham on 4 out of 5 plays or something. I just don't think that's the way to do it. And I think if they can get him back in with the way they're playing right now, balanced, brilliant. But I don't think so. I think Odell Beckham will get traded elsewhere, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll round off a wee football story. I think most people will know the name Petr Cech, former Chelsea goalkeeper. He started in the under-23s game, came out from retirement tonight. if you didn't already know. Big shock that. Petr Cech, obviously being the goalkeeping coach, he's been named as 4th goalkeeper for Chelsea this season. So to play in an under-23s game, quite remarkable, isn't it?
It is indeed. I also saw Danny Drinkwater was playing in that game. He's 30 years of age, and apparently he get sent off for like fighting with a 16-year-old. So anything can happen. Then.
I think his Chelsea career's over, definitely. But brilliant to see Petr Cech put the boots back on for real this time.
Yeah, you wonder what they're trying to do with him, because you heard about him getting named 4th goalkeeper, and now he's getting in for this. Hopefully it is just for a bit of like match experience. Obviously he'll be very rusty. I don't know if he's going to take... Who's that goalkeeper they signed?
Edward Mendy.
Mendy,
he made a mistake at the weekend.
So maybe they're doing that to pressure Mendy.
I don't know about that.
Maybe
I think that's a controversial thing to round up on. All of us here at BSR Sports are sad to hear the passing of Gerard Houllier. We found out last night. Horrible thing to happen to such a great manager. For every club he was at, we can't say a bad thing about him. And especially for Liverpool fans, I think every Liverpool fan will be grieving at the moment. So respect goes out to his family and all his friends. And honestly, Gerard Houllier, you were a legend for the sport, and may you rest in peace. But it's not all sad. We get plenty more to come here at BSR Sports. We're going to be focusing on a lot of interesting topics in the coming weeks. So please leave a like, subscribe, and until then, pay attention. Keep that notification bell on, because you will find out every Wednesday we're going to be releasing a World Sports podcast. Every Friday Night Football. Thank you very much for joining us, boys. Patrick, look, you've been an absolute pleasure today. Well done. And brilliant, until then, it's a goodbye from me.
See you.